Hey everybody, I got Favio from Sologenic, who's the head of growth and partnerships. Favio, great to have you on.
Great to be here, Tony. I actually brought you something. I brought you a solo token in its
Oh,
physical form.
nice. I have one of these as a Bitcoin. Yeah, yeah. I bought it years ago in 2017. So this is cool. Awesome. I love
There you
it.
go.
Thank you, man. Um,
Hey, it's
so,
so nice to meet in person because we've been in touch for
yeah,
almost like a year, I think.
yeah. We're talking on Zoom, an email. I've interviewed folks from Sologenic, Bob Ross, and some others, and it's really great to meet you guys in person.
Absolutely. And yeah, we're here at the Benzinga event. It's been great. We had a panel today alongside with Ripple, Prime Trust. It was a really interesting setting because it's kind of like a lawyer, a
Yeah.
custodian, Prime Trust, Ripple, Osmosis, which is DEX, who also built on Cosmos SDK, and us ourselves that we built on the XRPL
So
and on Cosmos too.
yeah, that's a really great lineup. I mean, just to your point, Ripple, you guys are built on the XRP ledger. But let's talk about your background. Where you,
Sure.
tell us about yourself and what you do at SoloGen.
For sure. So I'm originally from Peru. The first, well, I started at Sologenic a year and a half ago, I would say, when we kind of revamped the team and we centered around the decentralized branch of the company. Because as you know, Sologenic has Sologenic.com does tokenization of stocks, and we had that we keep it separate in a way. That's the regulated compliance side. And then we have Sologenic.org, where you have the DEX and the whole ecosystem that includes the NFT marketplace, everything built on the XRPL. So I've been part of that team from kind of like when we started pushing that. We launched the NFT marketplace. I was one of the
Right.
ones supervising all of that. And it just overall from that point forward, doing all of the activities that rely on growth, whether that's being with working with people like you or
Sure.
working with integrations, for example, fiat on ramps, bridge, um, and any other partnerships that really drive the value up of Sologenic and the ecosystem.
Very cool. I'm a fan of Sologenic. I'm actually going to be launching my NFT collection on the XRPL, but through the Sologenic marketplace. So I'm excited for that.
That's awesome, Tom. Oh, and just to add on my background, I come from a very marketing and kind of like building relationships type of background. In a way, user acquisition is what I used to do in the gaming space a lot.
Mm.
And that kind of like translated to crypto as in decentralization, like how that empowers creators. So I really found the value in that, and that's why I work on Sologenic because I really think, and I've seen people in the NFT marketplace, or not just there, but overall using these services that actually make profits. They make a business out of it. They are able to accomplish things using the tools that we have.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have built a great platform. So tell us about what's on your 2023 roadmap. What can we expect from Sologenic?
There's a couple of things, and I like to separate them because Sologenic, as a company, as a development foundation, has two projects, right? One of the main projects is Sologenic itself, that's built on the XRPL, and in that regard, we're hoping to launch the tokenization technology.
Mm.
It's just a matter of getting the license. And in terms of development, we just launched a market index for all XRPL tokens,
Right.
and we hope to launch the IDO launchpad, which will allow users to kind of like create their token easily on chain automatically, and then raise funds for their projects, their startups, everything on the same decentralized application.
So if someone wanted to start some new blockchain or whatever it is, they can do that through your platform and issue the tokens.
Not new blockchain. Well, it could be, but it's more like for projects that want to raise initial funds, like initial instead of an ICO, it's an IDO. And the way we are kind of like contributing to this process is by adding a component that's called trust score, which basically users can submit a transaction and vote if the project is trustworthy or not. And also, this will be integrated with the market index that we already have, so you can kind of see the metrics of the token, and do your own research on what you're investing on.
Sure.
And the other side of things is Coreum. Coreum is going to be launched.
Oh,
The
yeah.
main is going to be launched next year. So that's where we're most excited for, especially the smart token functionality that I cannot disclose too much about. but basically all of the features that we're launching for enterprise solutions. That's where we're going to be focusing on 2023. It's not like we're leaving Sologenic behind because we plan to make it interoperable. As a matter of fact, if you see our roadmap, the first thing we're going to do is make the XRPL interoperable with Coreum, which would be the first bridge between XRPL and a Cosmos-based chain.
Wow.
Kind of interesting.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So as far as distribution and how you guys are positioned, are you guys global and or are you in certain markets?
I actually have at the top of my head the top 3 markets I currently have, which is the first one, the UK, and then we have the Philippines, and then we have the first one is the US actually.
Okay.
And then we have the UK and the Philippines. Those are our 3 main markets, but we definitely are always present in the US in terms of expansion. It's just from the regulatory standpoint. Yeah. It's a bit complicated, especially when it comes to XRP. You cannot buy XRP on the US. Like our on ramp doesn't work here per se. So there's other ways, but at the same time, we're more focused in Europe as well, and Latin American markets too, because we see that a lot of opportunity there.
Right. Yeah, and to your point of the regulatory clarity in the U.S., it's tough. And I think everybody's waiting to see the outcome of the Ripple lawsuit or the SEC Ripple lawsuit. Do you have a prediction for that? Do you think Ripple's going to win?
I think if you do your own research, you can say what the balance is more inclined towards.
Sure.
But like you said, we need a regulatory clarity, especially on what is a security. That the premise in what they determine what is a security is very outdated. It was written in 1946 or something.
Right.
So we definitely need that regulatory clarity to move forward with massive adoption. But that being said, Ripple and Sologenic don't rely on the lawsuit being won to continue their plans. So we kind of are. That's why we don't are too not opinionated on it, because we don't depend on it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, you guys are in Canada, and then there's the whole rest of the world are building, right? They continue. So only here in the United States that we have this roadblock, which is the SEC and figuring things out. But the rest of the world is building and moving forward.
But you could still use the technology. You can still use the marketplace on the US without any problems, I think. And we are in exchanges that have a big presence here, like Bybit, for example, or Huawei.
Yeah, for sure. So I got to get your thoughts on crypto winter. It's tough out there. I know everybody's kind of looking to build now. When do you think we might see crypto spring?
That's a tough question. I do think that we're gonna be seeing a bit lower lows. I'm not trying to be like negative, but I do personally believe that DeFi is going to be kind of like the motor, or like what's going to drive us out of the crypto winter in a way. For 2023, I would say just data and digital ownership of your identity are 2 things that are going to be very like hot topics for sure. And we're definitely getting on that as well. And I think crypto winter just scraps out the projects that are legit, the projects that are actually built. I think crypto winter is to build, and that's what we're focusing on. Sure. So we then the real when it's over, when we're at the top of
Right. Yeah, to your point, that DeFi, given this FTX collapse, a centralized exchange collapse, which obviously wasn't run well. They were doing shady, fraudulent activity. But it'll probably move a lot of people to DeFi, right? Saying like, I'm gonna go and decentralized exchanges. I'm gonna self-custody. We're seeing a lot of that. A lot of crypto leaving centralized.
I think it definitely pushed some people out of crypto in general.
Oh, sure, yeah,
for sure. Anyone that tells me that they saw a user increase during the last 3 weeks is lying to you, or is probably a treasury management solution or a KYC and AML automated provider. Those 2 companies are more important now these days. I think that's good. Like transparency, proof of solvency is a concept that now it's, circulating more often. And we've been talking about it even before. Ripple does quarterly reports on transparency. So I think we're on a good track, on a good place to be on this crypto winter.
Yeah, yeah, and it was the silver lining to this whole debacle with FTX is a lot of exchanges are now doing proof of reserves, Merkle tree audits, so just raising the standard in the industry. Although I'm a big believer in self custody, and yesterday I think Ledger released their new hardware wallet called Stacks. It was really amazing. So things are progressing from a self custody hardware standpoint, even DeFi.
I love Ledger. Big shout out to them. But yeah, like you said, what we're trying to do is also provide the centralized experience. The centralized exchange experience on DeFi. Like what do you want? It doesn't matter where you're trading. In the end, you want to have cheap, fast, secure transactions. So we kind of try to emulate that in DeFi. Not emulate, but just make it possible. And that's why we use the XRPL.
Absolutely. Where can people learn more about Sologenic, both the DEX and the business?
I think the best way to learn about Sologenic is through the website sologenic.org. You can go ahead and try the DEX, make some trades. And also, not a lot of people know this, but our tokenization platform is live. So you currently can trade, for example, you can buy some Tesla stock and then fractionalize the ownership of it or send it to the DEX and trade it. But this is just dummy trades. Like the information is real. We use our broker is Saxo Bank in Europe.
Sure.
But yeah, it's good to know because you can see like how much you could make doing this once we put it to the market.
That's exciting, man. I'm excited for tokenization, and to your point, you guys are tokenizing stocks. I'm sure you're going to add other assets as.
Yeah, we do have stocks, ETFs, and commodities. But we've even explored ways to tokenize an equity at some point. There's some interesting talks going around tokenization in general, and I think the shift is from NFTs to tokenization because a lot of people associate NFTs with just JPEG projects nowadays. But they're much more than that. Like non-fungible assets can open doors to even real estate or like I mentioned, equity or what we're doing. For example, we're doing tickets or 3D avatars on the Metaverse.
Oh, wow.
What you are doing, it's providing value with real person or real meetings.
Right. So the NFT collection, people will get access to me. They get early access to interviews and then discounts on merchants, services and things like that.
What's interesting topic that came out when we were talking with Ripple? They're trying to do an NFT solution that when you own it and you log into an e-commerce store or something, you automatically get certain discounts. So I think that's a very palpable use case.
That's pretty big.
So that's where we're focusing. So if people wondering what do we do in NFTs, is providing utility-based NFTs and the tools to make this happen, rather than focusing, for example, in minting a lot of JPEGs and just volume.
You got to have utility, and I think we see like Starbucks. They're going to launch theirs on Polygon, but it's going to unlock perks and benefits, discounts. So I think that's the future, right? And being able to just get it exclusivity, and other experiences as well.
That's well said, Tony.
Awesome, Fabio. Pleasure, my friend.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you.